From an early age, the digital world became your new cradle, your new school, your new prison. This is the most sophisticated behavioral engineering, a system that knows you better than you know yourself, that manipulates you without you feeling the hand. You were conditioned to trade privacy for convenience, security for instant gratification, real connection for virtual validation. Think of Skinner's box experiment. Immediate reward, reinforced behavior, until the cage becomes imperceptible, and you dance to the algorithm's tune. And behavioral finance enters here brutally. The invisible value of your data, your consumption profile, your attention, all monetized, transformed into profit for big tech. From an early age, the digital world became your new cradle, your new school, your new prison. This is the most sophisticated behavioral engineering, a system that knows you better than you know yourself, that manipulates you without you feeling the hand. You were conditioned to trade privacy for convenience, security for instant gratification, real connection for virtual validation. Think of Skinner's box experiment. Immediate reward, reinforced behavior, until the cage becomes imperceptible, and you dance to the algorithm's tune. And behavioral finance enters here brutally. The invisible value of your data, your consumption profile, your attention, all monetized, transformed into profit for big tech. You spend money on convenience that enslaves you, on devices that spy on you, on the infrastructure of your own digital prison. Robert Cialdini, in his Laws of Persuasion, shows how reciprocity, free services, and social proof, everyone's using it, are used to manipulate your consent. You were indoctrinated to love your digital chains because they promise false comfort, false connection, instead of the raw truth that you are the product. If this digital programming resonates with you, comment below. I question my digital connection. You feel increasingly exposed, more empty, more anxious, even while living constantly connected. This is your internal fragmentation, the price of your soul surrendered to algorithms. The shadow, according to Carl Jung, is everything you deny within yourself. Your need for privacy, your capacity for silence, your autonomy of thought. They were silenced, pushed into the unconscious dark, in the name of practicality, of personalized experience. And what you repress controls you, sabotages you, hence the smartphone dependency. The FOMO, fear of missing out. The feeling that your life only exists online. Gabor explains that the trauma of real disconnection, the constant search for external validation, creates a vicious cycle of self-deception, where your own perception of reality is distorted. You project your shadow onto conspiracy theorists, onto those who resist the digital, because seeing the truth in them means facing your own complicity, your own servitude. Your identity becomes a profile, a curated performance for the screen. You are not who you are. You are who the algorithm suggests you be. To maintain engagement, to keep the data flowing. How much of your life is spent maintaining this digital illusion, in feeding the system that watches you? If this truth provoked you, comment below. I choose my privacy. You seek freedom. But why do you feel so empty, even with the world at your fingertips? So much connection, so much information. Because this is false freedom. A prison disguised as access. The freedom to scroll, but not to disconnect. The freedom to opine, but not to think critically. The digital system sells you the illusion of control, of personalization. It turns your need for community into a dopamine trap of endless clicks and engagement. Think of the attention economy. It doesn't need to force you into anything. It just needs to flood your senses, distract your focus, create such a loud noise that the voice of your intuition gets lost. This is surveillance capitalism. It profits from your data, from your behavior, from your attention, which is the new currency. It turns your life into a product to be sold. Behavioral finance operates here perversely. How often have you accepted abusive terms, shared sensitive data, made impulsive purchases, just for convenience or for the promise of a discount, a benefit that further imprisoned you. Daniel Kahneman taught us about anchoring bias. You are anchored to the idea that this is just how things are, that privacy is a luxury, and surveillance, a price to pay for modernity. You are not deciding. You are obeying the script the algorithm wrote for you to maintain digital order, the stability of profit, the manufactured peace of your feed. But true freedom cannot be bought with data. It is conquered in the silence of your disconnection, in the courage to unmask the invisible thread of your manipulation. If this part resonated with you, comment here. I don't want to trade freedom for convenience anymore. Rupture isn't about logging off completely. It's about logging back into yourself. It's when you stop obeying the algorithm and start listening to your own voice. Authentic reconstruction begins in the silence of your disconnection, in the courage to allow yourself to feel boredom, the absence of constant stimulation, the lack of immediate validation. Gabor Mate shows us, the root of addiction is the search for relief, and digital dependency is the pursuit of a relief that traps you. The cure is reconnection with your integrity, with your capacity to be present. This is true disobedience, disobeying the system that wants you glued to the screen, the voices that tell you to share everything, your own self-repression of real life. It's a radical choice, to abandon the false security of the digital bubble for the uncertainty of authentic human interaction, an authenticity that is priceless because it costs your false online identity. Jordan Peterson speaks about the responsibility of embracing order, of facing chaos. Your life without the digital makeup may seem daunting, but that's where your strength lies, your autonomy. You will lose the fear of being offline. You will stop sabotaging yourself with distractions, because there will be no part of you hidden behind a profile, no vital energy wasted feeding the data monster. This is freedom, not the freedom to scroll the feed, but the freedom to be who you truly are, to live in the real world, with presence, with purpose, without the surveillance, without the invisible chains. If you feel this is the moment to break through digital walls, type in the comments, "Digital programming ends with me," or send this video to someone living in a screen prison. The banality of digital evil, algorithms that normalize your destruction. Do you notice how passively you accept the surveillance that once would horrify you? The price of freedom isn't speech, but the courage to break the silence the system imposed on you. The gradual normalization of privacy invasions reveals how we are programmed to accept our own destruction in exchange for digital convenience. Your life, your data, your attention, all monetized, all controlled, without you feeling the chains. But the truth, it cannot be bought. It is conquered in disconnection, in presence, in the courage to be real. Choose your consciousness, even if it forces you to question everything. This is your deepest freedom, that of being who you truly are, off-screen, outside the algorithm, outside the invisible prison. If something awakened in you in this video, comment, "I see beyond the digital veil." Share this content with anyone living anesthetized by convenience. And if you want to keep breaking cycles with me, subscribe now. The shadow you avoid controls you. Freedom only frightens, until you discover you were ready all along. Rupture is the beginning. Consciousness is the path to your sovereignty.